do you have to be aware of and what should you navigate? Well, let's speak to an expert, Mtho Maphumulo. Mr. Maphumulo is a senior associate from Adams & Adams, joining us now. Thank you very much for your time. I mean, the government has made it clear that in terms of certain laws that govern the medical treatment of children in the country, they don't need parental permission, but it will be good for parents to accompany them when they do get the jabs. What should we be aware of? What are these laws?
Hi, Dan. Thank you for having me, and a very good afternoon to your viewers. That is so. So in terms of the Children's Act, a child of the age of 12 can, give a valid or legally valid consent to medical treatment. However, in addition to the requirement of age, there is also a requirement of mental capacity. So the child needs to be in a position where they can appreciate and understand the nature of the treatment. In this case, it is a vaccine. A vaccine. They need to understand the nature, the risks involved in taking the vaccine. And so it is not just the age, but also the mental capacity. And rightly so, I think having the parents accompanying the child will play a vital role in the sense that they may be in a better position in terms of giving the information and the advice on the mental capacity of the child. So that is what really the law says.
So on the mental capacity side, I mean, whose responsibility is it? Is it the responsibility of the parent and the law-wise? Because, I mean, we're talking about 12 to 17. They can go on their own, but mental capacity-wise, for me, that's a bit of a tricky one.
Yes, yeah, no, certainly. Because if you go for a vaccination, the kind of... you need a bit of time for someone who's administering this vaccination will need some time in order to gauge and tell and be confident that the child does appreciate the nature, the risks and the benefits of the vaccine. So in that instance, it will have to be the health caregiver who will be able to assess if the child is of that mental capacity or does possess that mental capacity, in which case I assume there will be some kind of a questionnaire with certain questions in order to kind of establish and find out if the child does indeed possess that required legal mental capacity.
Yeah, but legally from the law side, there's nothing that will prohibit or prevent, rather, I think that's a better word to use, anybody between the ages of 12 and 17 to access certain medical care, provided they've got the right understanding of what they are doing, and that there's no law that says, no, you can't go and get the jab if you're 14 and you understand it's to prevent you getting infected with the coronavirus.
Absolutely. So the two requirements is the age of 12 and also the mental capacity. And if you do meet those two requirements, absolutely, there can be no objections, or you cannot be denied as a child that right of yours to the medical treatment.
So this can be fought in the courts. I mean, there's no parent. I mean, we are hearing stories, parents are worried and they're not sure. So, I mean, the government can't really be challenged because what they have done is legal.
I would not necessarily say there is no room at all for a legal battle stemming out of all this. There may be instances where, say, in the assessment of the mental capacity, for an example, the child, the health caregiver misassessed the mental capacity of the child, and it later becomes for a child, the child as a result of this vaccination develops, say, some severe health complications. then in that, well, let us say, for argument's sake, the parent was not aware that the child had gone for the vaccination. In that instance, we have to look at the procedure that was adopted when the child was given this vaccination, the procedure which involves the requirement of the mental capacity. And if we can tell or show that the procedure was not done in line with the legal requirements. So in this example, it is failure to properly assess the mental capacity. Then the parent may argue that, may sue for civil damages, in the sense that in that instance, then you need if the child does not possess the mental capacity, you need the parent to have his opinions, suggestions, and also views before you vaccinate the child. So we cannot completely exclude the possibility of litigation stemming out of this.
Yeah, but so the most sensible thing to do would be to maybe do what the government has recommended. If you're a parent and you have a 12-year-old child between the ages of 12 and 17, and you are aware of this campaign now, you should be aware and accompany them, so at least we minimize any possible legal challenges. But currently the law allows this to happen, but that mental capacity thing might be an issue that healthcare practitioners who are administering the COVID-19 vaccine need to be aware of. Thank you very much for your insights there, Mr. Maphumulo. That's Mtho Maphumulo, a senior associate from Adams and Adams. It's about how